Hey Divination, thank you for joining us in this live stream, and today I will show you how to use Divi's new column structures to create stunning section transitions. And for this live stream, I'll use the Makeup Artist layout pack, and if you haven't checked that out yet, make sure that you do. I've mentioned a link in the description below, and if you're not an Elegant Themes member yet, make sure that you check out Divi. I've mentioned a link to the product page where you can go ahead and discover Divi for yourself. So without any further ado, let's get to it. All right, so let's take a look at the Makeup Artist layout pack. So this is the landing page, and I'll show you what the entire layout pack looks like as well by going to elegantthemes.com/layout. And over here, if I scroll down, I'll come across the Makeup Artist layout pack. So it's one of the recent layout packs that is available to you. So you're able to download all of the layouts that are included, so you can see all of the layouts over here and use them for free, including all of the images and or illustrations. So if I click on this blue button which says view live demo, I will be redirected to a live website where I can go ahead and see what the different layouts look like on a live website without actually having to install them on my website first. So this is the overall look and feel, so you can feel this stunning design. It is really elegant. It has a sober color palette, but it really emphasizes all of the different Divi built-in options that are being used. And what we're going to do within this live stream tutorial is we're going to use Divi's new column structures. So if you haven't seen that update yet, we've added a bunch of new column structures to each and every row, which you can use to create all kinds of designs. And we're going to use these new column structures to create these stunning type of section transitions. So this is the first one we're going to recreate. And then we have this one as well. And we'll create this one as well. So let's get started. So the first thing you will need to do is you will need to upload the landing page of the Makeup Artist layout pack. So go ahead and do that. And once you're set, you can start by enabling the visual builder. So I'll just do that on this page, and I have a separate page for each one of the examples. So I'll guide you step by step on how you can achieve those different designs. So this is the first one, as I've mentioned before, and I'm just going to start off by enabling the visual builder. All right, so then I get to choose where I want to locate this section transition, and I'm just going to place it right below the hero section over here. So I'll make it a transition between this section, the first section, and the second section. So I'll just add a regular section, so this blue one over here. And before adding any rows or modules to it, I'm going to change some things about this section. So I'll just open these section settings, and I'm going to go to the spacing settings over here, and I'll remove the default padding that's present in this section by adding 0 pixel to the top and bottom custom padding, and I'm just going to link these two. So if you change one of both, everything will change, so both of them will change at the same time. And then I'm going to add a row. So this is the column structure that I'm going to be using. So I'll just click on this, and I'm using 5 different columns. So these are equally sized, but you have 5 columns at your disposal. And I'll just add that to my section. And then I'll open my row settings, and I'll go to the sizing settings in the design tab. And over here, I'm going to enable the make this row full width option. And I'm also going to use custom gutter width, and I'll just use 1 or 0. They have the same effects. And then I'm also going to remove all of the spacing in this row as well. And the reason why I'm doing this is just to reduce the amount of space that is being taken up by the default padding of the section and the row. So I can make more space for the design elements. And since we're just using this row and section to create a transition, white space won't be necessary. And I'll also increase the saturation to 200%. And at this moment, you won't notice anything happen, but once we add our modules and all of that, we will see a different kind of result. All right, so now I can start adding the modules. So the only module I'll need is a divider module, and we're going to use this divider module to create a shape, and afterwards play around with the different settings to create this kind of result, as you can see over here. So go ahead and add a divider module to your first column. And we don't want the divider to show up. We're rather going to use the spacing settings, the custom padding to create a shape. So I'm going to disable this option over here. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a gradient background to my divider to give it a little bit of color. So I'll use a completely transparent white color as my first color, and then I'll play around with a second color over here. So I'm going to choose a kind of purple one. I've mentioned the color code in the description below, so I'm just going to enter that here. But if you want to find it, you can go to the blog post. I've mentioned it in the description below, and you can follow everything step by step there as well. Okay, so this is the second color that we'll need, and we won't need to change anything about these settings over here. And the next thing I'm going to do is go to the spacing settings. Over here, I'm going to create my square, and I'll also add some negative top margin just to reduce the space a little bit more between the previous section, this section, and the next section. And I'm also going to add 120 pixels to the top and bottom margin padding, excuse me. So I'll just add it to the top and then link it to the bottom as well. So this is the first divider module that we have over here. And I'm going to clone this divider module and place it in the second column as well and make some changes to it to create the other design element over here that you can see. So the green one. And I'm going to open the clone for that, and first thing I'm going to do is change the gradient background. So I'm going to switch places between these two color codes. So I'll need to have this completely transparent color at the bottom and a green color at the top. And I'll start by switching both of them by clicking on this icon over here that you can see. And this creates a switch without actually having to do it manually. And then I'll change the color over here into the green color that matches the layout pack. So again, you can find all of these color codes in the description below. I've mentioned the link to the blog post where you can find all of the settings of each one of the section transitions that we're going to create. And I'll also change the spacing over here. So instead of using negative top margin, I'm going to use positive top margin. So I'll create that transition between these two design elements as well. And I'm also going to clone each one of these and place them in the remaining columns. So I'll just clone the first one and I'll place that in the third column. And then I'll clone it again and place it in the fifth column as well. And then I'll clone the green one and place it in the fourth column. And here we have the results. So this is what it looks like on tablet, and we want it to look equally as good on desktop, I meant, and we want it to look equally as good on tablet and phone. And for that, we're just going to add one extra step. So I'm going to hide a few of these divider modules on tablet and phone, and we're going to do that for the third one, the fourth one, and the fifth one. And I'll just open the third one, go to the Advanced tab, go to the visibility settings, hide it on tablet and phone, and then I'll just right click over here and copy the visibility styles. And that way I won't have to manually do that for the two remaining ones. I can just right click over here and paste the visibility styles, and this will allow me to get rid of those on tablet and phone as well. I think over here you won't be able to see it right away because they're just hidden. They still exist in the Divi builder, but once you view it on a live website on your phone, for instance, you will notice that the result looks great on tablet and phone as well. So I'll just save this one, and then we can move on to the next one. All right, so this is the next one, and I'm just gonna go to another page over here. I'll exit the visual builder and go to example number 2. So this is the first one that we've created. Let's go to the second page that I've created over here, and again, enable the visual builder. So I'm going to scroll down over here, and I'm just going to add a new section. So again, I'm going to use a regular section. And before adding any rows or modules, I'm going to change some section settings by opening my section settings, and I'll add a top divider to start off. And I'm going to find the following divider style in my list is this one, and I'm going to flip it. And I'll also use a white color for it, so I won't be able to see it until I add all of the design elements. And I'm also going to make sure that this appears on top of the section content. And I'm going to increase the divider height to 236 pixels. All right, and then I can add my bottom one as well. Just switch over to bottom, and I'm going to use the same divider style. So scroll down until you come across it and use a white color for it as well. Again, change the divider height to 236 pixels and place it on top of section content as well. All right, so then you can move on to the spacing settings. Over here, we're going to add 100 pixels to both the top and bottom margin. So I'll add it to the top margin and link it to the bottom margin as well. And I'm going to remove all of the custom padding by adding 0 pixels to both the top and the bottom. Next. And then I can start adding my row and different modules. So I'll just switch over to wireframe mode to make it a little easier for myself because I've removed all of the custom padding. And over here, I'm going to add, again, a row with 5 columns. And then I'll open the settings of my row and switch over to the real-time view again. And over here, I'm going to make this row take up the entire width of the screen by enabling the make this full row full width option and enabling the use custom gutter width option here as well, and use 1 or 0. 1 or 0, you can choose. And we're also going to remove the default top and bottom padding by adding 0 pixels to the top and to the bottom. All right, so now we can start adding the different elements, so the different modules. I'll need a divider module, which I'll clone afterwards once I've added the different adjust its settings to it. So I'll add a divider module to the first column. Again, we're going to use this to create a certain shape. But in this case, we're going to use the divider as well, and we'll show you what that looks like. So this is the result we're aiming to achieve. So you can still see the divider over here, and it's in combination with a background color there as well. So I'll add a background color to this, and we're going to use that same purple one that we've used before. You can find all of the settings step by step in the description below. There's a blog post which will lead you to it. All right. Just gonna choose a slighter darker color. So you can use whichever kind of color you want, of course. I'll just choose this one over here, and then I'll move on to the design tab, and over here I'm going to choose a white color for my divider. And then I'll open the styles over here, and I'm going to change the divider style into double. Open the sizing settings, and I'm going to give it 18 pixels for the weight. And then I'll add some spacing to my divider module as well. So I'll use 50 pixels for both the top and the bottom. So as you can see, we have the first part over here that's in place. And now we have to clone it and use it in the remaining columns as well. So I'll just save this over here, and then I'll clone this module and place it in the second column. And then I'll open the settings over here, and I'm going to change the color. So you can choose any kind of color you want. I'm just going to give it another type of color to create that contrast between both columns. And once you do, you can clone both of these and place them in the remaining columns. So this one, this duplicate, I'm going to place in the third column, and then I'll add one of these in the fourth one. And one of these over here as well. So I'm just going to check. Over here, I'm just going to make sure this is 236 to get the end result. Here we go. So this is the end result. And again, we'll need to hide these divider modules that are placed in row number 3, 4, and 5 to make this look equally as good on tablet and phone. So I'll go to the visibility settings of the module in the third column, hide it on phone and tablet, then again clone the visibility styles and paste them on the two remaining modules in row number 4 and row number 5. So this is the second example that we've recreated. All right, and now we can move on to the last one. So yeah, the reason why it didn't show up was because I didn't choose the right value for the divider height, but that was a quick fix. And you can definitely experiment with all of these different settings to create your own kind of section transitions using the different column structures. So you can leave columns empty and just create all kinds of effects, but these are 3 of the ones that I've created and I thought was worth sharing with you guys. And this is the last one that we're going to create. And for that, I'm going to move on to the 3rd page over here. So I'll exit the Visual Builder and go to example 3 over here. And I'll just scroll down and I'm going to add it over here. So I'll enable the Visual Builder and I'm just going to check if you guys have any questions on YouTube. So hi everyone. I hope you guys are benefiting from this. And yeah, Uncle Social. Yeah, I've made a mistake right there, but it was a quick fix, so that's a good thing. All right, so if you guys have any questions, make sure that you leave them in the comment section below. I try to check on them whilst creating this tutorial so I can respond to them in real time. So the last one that I'm going to create, which is this one, is going to be placed right over here. So I'll just add a new section, a regular one. And I'm actually going to save you guys a bunch of time. So we can reuse the row that we've used in the previous example and just change the section settings actually. So I'm just going to do that really quick. So I'm going to clone this row. I'll just save my page really quick and I'm going to add it to the library and reuse it for this example. So I'm going to go to the 2nd example over here. So most of the steps are the same anyways. You'll have to use a divider module for each one of the columns. And I'll just save this row, not the section, just the row, and I'll reuse it for the last example. So over here, I'll click on this icon and I'll just give it a very random name. And I'll switch back to the 3rd page. I'm just trying to keep the structure going on, not work on the same page, so you guys can eventually see all 3 of them lined up. All right, so I'll just scroll down until I come across my new section. And over here, instead of adding a new one, I'll add from the library. And I'll choose the row number 1 over here. And then I'll open the section settings and I'm going to add a top divider. So I'll just find it in my list. It's this one over here. And I'll use a white color for it. And I'm also going to change the divider height into 150 pixels, and I'll also place it on top of section content. So we're only using the modules to create, a stunning transition. We're not using them to be readable in any way, just to create a stunning result. So that's why it doesn't matter if we're placing it on top of section content. It won't change a lot of stuff. And then I'm going to add a bottom divider as well. And I'm going to choose the same one over here. I'll need to flip it vertically, and I'm going to change the divider height into 150 pixels here as well. Use a white divider color, and I'm going to place it on top of section content. I'll also remove all of the default padding of my section, and I'm going to add some top and bottom margin over here as well. and then I'll make some small modifications to the divider modules as well. So this is the result we have in the meantime. But you can make this look differently as well. So instead of using 50 pixels, I'm going to use 100, for instance. And I'm going to copy the spacing styles over here. And I'm going to paste it on the remaining modules in the remaining columns. Here we go. And here we have the stunning result. We can also play around with the divider style over here. So we can make this dotted as well. Copy this again. Or we can use the find and replace as well. I personally like using the copy and paste one. But if you want to save time, you should definitely try to use the find and replace option instead. So you can create stunning designs using these different column structures and Divi's built-in options. So let's just save this one as well. So the last step was hiding this for tablet and phone. So these three modules over here, but since we're actually using a row that we've used for the second example, these are already hidden on phone and tablet. So let me show you really quick. As you can see, these are already hidden, so we're good to go. So let me just save and exit over here. All right, so this is our last example, a last result. This is the second example over here that we've created in the first one. So these look exactly the same as the ones that we've shown you before starting this live stream tutorial. All right, so that was it for this live stream. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're enjoying all of this content and you want to contribute as well, share your knowledge, your skills with the Divi community. Make sure that you check out one of the links in the description below and find out how you can contribute to the Elegant Themes blog. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in our next video or live stream.